Assalamu alaikum. We continue today the discussion of the verbs, al-Af'al. So here is mazid al-thulathi, which means the three-letter root that had an addition to it. So mazid, what was added, or the thing that was added to, of the thulathi, the three-letter root verb. So this is what we learned about, how the fa'ala is used, this word, as a scale. Now it should be noted that there are more than 10 possible ways to form verbs in Arabic by adding letters to the root of a three-letter root or a four-letter root. In this case, we're looking at the additions to a three-letter root. This is what mazid al-thulathi is. So what you are looking here for is you look for the letters that match these three letters here in this scale, fa'al. Now in the book of النحو الواضح, they added these two more scales, so you have 12. Now in other books, you have only these above the green line. So you have 10 scales, and that's what you will see in the tables that I will show. So you can concentrate on the first 10. Now here, all these sentences begin with a verb. So here you have the ones that have one letter added to the original verb. In here you have two letters added to the original verb. And here you have three letters added to the original verb in here. So you can use this as an exercise and try to find these three letters and how they match. So you put this under this, and you put this under this, and you put this one under this one, and see which one is added. That will be the added letter, and this way you can find the root in this new verb here. So that's how you can use these skills. Use this as an exercise. As I said, we will not go too deep into these. So you have this here to work with if you like to get some practice, and you have this here, these two, because you have an example of these in the tables. Now for the four-letter root, this is what we learned about. It has four letters, original. If only one letter is added to it, this ta here, you get, this is an example of it here, these two. Or you add this a or an to it, two letters, and you have this example here. Also, you have this example here. They add this one letter at the beginning, this connecting hamza, and they double the last letter. And this here, I'm just showing how this, you should understand this one here. This is how you will see it written, not like this. This is here just a breakdown of this. Now, here you have examples of it. So, if you like, you can try to match these. This way you get some practice at analyzing the different forms of verbs if you see them in a text. Now, another important note, know that there is no a in a verb. In Arabic, there is no original a. So when you see an a here in a verb, you should know that it was added or it was flipped from an u or a ya, meaning another vowel. So again, an a is either added or was flipped if you see it in a verb, any verb, whether it's an original verb or it was formed by adding letters to it. This a will not be original. So now you will know to drop the a or to find the vowel, an u or an e, in another form of that verb. So just be aware of that. This is a useful tip when you come across a verb that has an a in it. This way you know there is no a original in any verb. It's either flipped from an u or a ya, or it's an addition. I suggest that you study these scales with verbs that have all consonants, no vowels. So the tables that I will show are from this book, كتاب العرف or كتاب طيب العرف في فن الصرف. So I will leave the link for this book in the description of the video. طبع في مطبعة الأمريكان في بيروت. It was printed in the American press in Beirut سنة 1888 in the year 1888. So the first table here, it shows the scale that is used in Arabic with verbs. So the three-letter root can have one letter added to it, and this is how it would look. The scale here is the أفعل فعل فاعل. So here it tells you what was added, the letter that was added. Then here you have an example for the word جلس, and here you have an example of another verb. Here المزيد فيه حرفان, and this is how it would look if two letters were added to the original three-letter root, and you get these 5 forms here. And you have these 2 forms if 3 letters were added to the 3-letter root. This here is for the 4-letter root, and if you add letters to it, this is how it would look. If you add 1 letter, that's how it would look. This here, that's you add the ta to it. Or if you add 2 letters to it, you will get these 2 forms here. I'm just going through these tables. I will not discuss it too much. Just to give you a source, we will discuss this as we need when we go through the text. Now here, that's how a 3-letter root verb or a 4-letter root verb can look. If you have vowels, or you have doubled letters, or you have just consonants, and so on. So here it says الفعل المجرد, the stripped verb. This group here is صحيح, meaning sound. سالم is sound. This here is an example of it. So we will not go too much into these details, but I will show you this. So here different characteristics of different verbs. You have examples here. So here, that's how you will see a 3-letter root verb in one of these cases. So it could take any of these forms. Have vowels, not have vowels, have doubled letters, and so on. Or have a hamza here. So you can look at this. Here is an example of a 4-letter root. That's how it would look. As I said, just look at these tables. You can pause at them or download the book so you can have a source to look at. You are studying or analyzing a text. Now here is an example of a past tense verb that has no vowels in it, or a hamza, an a sound, the letter a. So this is how you have here the scale. Look how it looks. Now these are the 10 forms that a verb can take. There are more, but these are the ones that are always discussed in grammar books. Now here you have 3 types of verbs. Pay attention to the movement on the second letter here, and see if you form another verb from it, how it behaves. This here you have an example in this. Now here this is a table for if the verb has a hamza and a here at the beginning of it, or at the in the center of it, or at the last letter of it for a 3-letter verb. That's how it would look. You have the scale there, and you have these examples. Now here, this is a 3-letter root verb that has a vowel in it, either at the beginning or in the middle of it, or at the end of it, here and there. So that's how it would look as you form different verbs from it. Now here it discusses the present tense and how you form it. These are the letters that I just talked about. Here it talks about forming the present or the non-past from the three-letter root. So the present tense letter is always have that short vowel a. And here it says the four-letter root gets it's madmoom, it gets the short vowel u. There are other exceptions here, but we will not discuss now. Now here, if it's formed from 5 or 6 letters, it's also maftuh. So as the three-letter root, it has the short vowel a. But there are here different details, as I said, we will not go into. But now you have a source we can look at. Now here we have an example of a present tense or non-past with different type of verbs. So this is the scale, al-mizan, which means scale. Notice how the present tense letters are added here. So yeah, here it's you. Notice it's four letters. You, four-letter verb. Here the letter is doubled. You see the sign there, so you get 2a here. Here it's 4-letter U. Now the rest are 5 and 6 letters here. Notice yeah. Now with the vowels you have different changes. That's for a whole new subject, so we will not talk about this. If you concentrate on the one with the consonant, then you can understand how they have to go through these changes to match this scale. So these changes result from trying to match the scale here. And with the verb that has all consonants, you just easily match it with the scale. There is no problem. Only when you have vowels, you have to try to work the short vowel with the regular vowel, and that's where you end up with these changes. We will not discuss this now. So now you just have an idea about it, and you have a table you can go to. Here they point out that this verb ra'a, to see, is an exception to the verbs with the hamza in the middle or at the end, since they act normally except for this verb ra'a, to see. So it's omitted. Yara. Instead of yar'a, it becomes yara. Now this table here is for a verb that you use if you don't want to name the subject or doer, or if it's unknown. And the way it's done in Arabic, they change the short vowels on the same verb. So this here is in a regular case shanaqa. So we'll have shanaqa, these short vowels. He hanged. If he was hanged and the subject or doer is unknown, you change these vowels in this fashion. So notice the first one, shu. The second one, ni, qa. The past always have this movement. The last one, so shuniqa. Notice the short vowels changing the meaning of it, so it becomes shuniqa. He was hanged. Shanaqa, he hanged. This is the regular verb, or how it's used in a regular fashion. Here they give an example of this form with the present tense, or if the verbs have a hamza or a vowel, in this case wa. So this here are just examples of how this type of verb will behave with different letters. forming the main verb. Also has scales. Notice here the same scale, but applies differently because of the changing of the short vowels. Now you have an example of it. Here are the same ones with different verbs. They have different vowels, so in different position of the verb, either at the beginning or the middle or last. So you have an example of it here. Now this one here is for the command form. So here they give you the examples of all the verbs with no vowels here, a hamza and a in the beginning, or a vowel at the beginning or in the middle or at the last one here. So this here are for the command form. That's how it would look with different types of verbs. So notice here how they look. So that's another table. So now you have tables that give you an example of the verbs in Arabic, how they behave when they have different letters, vowels or a hamza and so on. So download this book and keep these tables as a reference. Thank you for listening. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.